Now, I guarantee that most of you would have never have seen flights like these. Now, don't get me wrong, some players actually do use these style of flights, but some I have never seen used. Let's get through them and have a look to see how much they actually change the way your dart flies in the air. I'd just like to say nice and early, thank you so much to L-Style for giving me these flights to try out for a video. But let's get in to set number one. So this is what my normal setup looks like, okay? You've just got the normal L3 flights on. These are the Redux, sometimes use the super heavyweights, but this is what the first ones look like, and this is what the first switch now looks like. And here is what the first unique looking flight looks like. Now, they are so not what I would normally throw. So let's see how they fly, and I'll give you my opinion. Oh my. They are... Oh, they're weird. What on earth? Now, this is going to be really hard to imagine, okay? But, like, I'm a massive spinner of the dart. Like, when I throw my darts, my flights are rotating rapidly. You know, you get all different types of, you know, rotation speeds of the dart. With the oval flights, it stops them from rotating. So I'm seeing these darts fly so differently. Like, they are very, very loopy. But it's not bad. Oh, I tell you what, it's not bad. And on to flight number two. What on earth are they? Look at how skinny that is. It's the skinniest kite I've ever seen in my life. Now, I know there's a lot of pros that use kite flights, but I've never seen any that thin. Like, that's almost like Phil the Power Taylor-esque is probably the closest I would say. So let's see how these ones fly. Oh my God. God. Now, one thing I'm hoping you can tell already, especially on the dartboard cam, is how high they're going into the board. Like, they're almost standing upright. Now, if you know anything about me, you'd know that when I watch darts, I hate players that have darts that stand really upright. It just, to me, it looks weird on like the TV or anything like that. So for me right now, these are going in at such a weird angle that I know for a fact that if I was watching this YouTube video, I would absolutely hate the angle that these are going into the board. And I'm also glad that I have very grippy points in these darts, because otherwise the majority of these darts would fall out. I don't know why, but they are going in so incredibly slow. I don't know what it's doing in the air. I've not changed my throw, I've changed nothing, but they are hanging in the board. That's a 140 with them though. What is going on? I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound so weird, but I actually think I'm preferring these to the oval ones. How? I don't know, but they seem to be going straighter. I don't know what's going on. And here is flight number 3. What is that? It's like a diamond. Why are there diamond flights? I don't know of anyone who uses them. I mean, look at it. What is that? Anyway, see how these fly then. Now, straight off the bat, these are weird. They're flying weird as well. Oh, they fly weird. Now, part of me was like, do you know what? They're not that far off of a normal flight in retrospect. Like, yeah, you got more of a point on the sides, but they're not that far off of a normal flight. But they're flying very differently. Oh, I just feel like when I'm throwing them, that they are doing a very weird movement in the air. They're almost coming out sideways. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I don't know what it is and how it's doing it, but it's like almost kinking so far left. But if you look at the angle that they're going in at, it's a very normal angle for me, that. It's not very, very high, it's not low, it's not flat. So the actual fact, the angle it's going in the board is nice, but yeah, it's weird. See, those last three were interesting, especially those last two, because I feel like with either the ovals or the second set that I used, that last dart then, I believe, would have stayed in that treble 20. But I feel like because there's such a sharp point on the edge of the flight, if you clip that with your point, there's going to be massive deflections with those. And I think there's a prime example out of those last three that I just threw. Be interesting to see that in slow-mo. I think it's safe to say these are my least favourite so far. And number 4, we have almost a standard kite variant, but it's a dimpled variant. So a dimpled standard kite. Now, I must admit, I don't know why, but this to me just looks, the style on these, probably the colouring as well, gives like a fly effect. It's stupid, I know, but I just think of this, I just think insect. But anyway, let's see how these fly. See, now this is really interesting, considering I actually found the really small kites half decent. These ones, I don't know, they just seem to be spraying everywhere. And there's no consistency with how they're going into the board. Like, every single one of those 3 darts has gone in at a different angle. It's fascinating how flights can change how the dart flies. I also don't know if it's just in my own head, but they just feel like they take longer to get to the board as well. It's a bit weird. Oh, that's a very unlucky deflection there with the last dart, which is also quite interesting. I'm not entirely sure how that's taken such a big deflection, because with those flights, they're not that wide. That's quite weird to see. Might be weird, but those small kite flights seem to still be the favourite so far. Here we go then, flight number 5. They're going to look at these and go, Luke, they're the same as the last ones. Well, they're actually slightly not. You will see that these are a lot more aggressively going inwards, for example, a lot aggressively going in this way than the weird fly flights that we just did a minute ago. So with them being a lot more narrow and a lot more aggressively going into the stem, I think these will fly quicker through the air. But let's have a look then, shall we? More streamlined. Here we go. Oh, ha! 1 dart in. It looks like it's going to be. One thing I'll definitely say about these is they make my throw slower. Now, you can say that's a good thing, you can say that's a bad thing, but definitely because of the way that the flights come narrowly into the stem, it makes them more streamlined, which is then making them fly through the air a lot quicker, which is having to change the arc of my throw. Which, do I really want to do? Not necessarily. But are they really wavering that much? I think after a bit of time, I could get used to these. If you've got quite a hard throw, I'd imagine these would suit you quite nicely, but I'm quite a floater. So because of that, I can't get used to these flights. I've made my decision. I've been throwing them for 5 minutes. I cannot get used to the way I need to throw these for them to fly anywhere near the treble as we hit a ton. But let's move on to the last set. And last, but certainly not least, what on earth are they? What on earth are they? Look at them. Here we go. Oh my God. Look at the angle on those darts. Every one is so different. Do you know what? I knew that a flight made a bit of a difference, okay? But just filming this video, and hopefully you guys will notice it as well in the video, a flight makes a massive difference. Like, that's insane. Like, that was still a score of 81, but you can't throw consistently with the darts going in at those angles. I mean, blimey. Who knows, maybe my editor has found somebody who throws a flight like this. But I have never seen something that flies as weird as those. Out of all of them that I have thrown, these are the weirdest. In the air, at least. The angles are insane. Oh my. What on earth happened there? What was that? What are these darts? What are these flights? What are these, man? Get me off of these flights! Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. I've actually seriously enjoyed making that video. I couldn't quite believe how much the flights make a difference. Let me know in the comments below, guys, which set of flights you like the most and whether or not you would do something as silly as that and try a load of them, because trust me, it's interesting to see. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Put the bell on so you get notifications of when we upload a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.